Hi there. I'm excited to share with you three of my favorite coaching moments to date. There's so many that I actually have taken to heart, make my heart smile, like to just reinforce my why I'm a coach, why I do this, why I show up for my clients the way that I do, why I've gone so hard to position myself as a certified coach and to continue to hone in on my coaching craft so I can show up powerfully for my clients so they can leave me as the most powerful versions of themselves at the end of our coaching engagement. Like this is my why. And so these are just three examples, three of my favorite moments with a few of my clients that I've had to date. And so before I dive in, if this is your first time engaging with my content, I am Danielle the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach. And what I do is I help millennials navigate life and leadership authentically, redefine success, and show up powerfully in any setting. So I think like this is probably the number one moment that I've had. I'm hesitant to call anyone like the number one, the top ones, because there's so many, but this is what I'm going to go with. So I was coaching a client who had a number of experiences in their organization as like almost like a triple minority in the organization. And so one of the things that we were working on was showing up authentically in a place where you are a stark minority. How can you do this and do it gracefully yet powerfully? And so as we had many a session, in one particular session, it came down to assessing yourself and assessing the players in the game, in air quotes, that were necessary for this particular client's success. And so one suggestion or piece of advice that I gave, that I offered up to my client, and it seemed to resonate just immediately and powerfully, it was, don't be afraid to play the game as long as you play it with integrity. This particular client like needed the permission to show up in a way that exuded awareness of the situation, awareness of the players, awareness of self, and how these three dynamics were interwoven and where she fit in the mix. And so in giving that piece of advice, to not be afraid to play the game as long as you played it with integrity, there was some permission in that statement that my client needed that she didn't realize that she needed. And her whole facial expression changed. The way she looked back at me on screen when I said it, and the way like her shoulders relaxed when I said it, it was just a powerful moment in our coaching engagement. It it was one of my favorite moments. It was just one of my favorite moments. And it was one of those times when a client is like, wait a minute, I need to write that down. I'm going to put that on my computer so I can see that, daily. Like I needed to hear that. And so that is one of my favorite moments in just giving her the power, giving her power back, because she always had it. And at some point along the way, she lost it. And so as a coach, that's how I support you. Like I am your hype woman. I am one of your number one fans. I am rooting for you. Your success is my success. And this is how I want you to show up powerfully. Be able to self-assess. Be able to self-assess whatever situations that you may be in, and know who the players are and know what they need. Know what their MO is, and show up accordingly. Stay true to yourself and your core values. Show up authentically, but also know who you're dealing with. The information is there. The data is there. Use it to your advantage, but make sure you play the game with integrity. My number two moment I would have to say is with another client, and we were ending our engagement, and it was so like bittersweet. It was so bittersweet. And we had our final conversation and just kind of like the overview of like how far we had come and what shifts had been made and the impact of the coaching engagement. And this particular client, when we started, was a bit frustrated with their current leadership, was a bit frustrated just with a lot of different factors that fell under their realm of responsibility as a leader. And there was a lot of frustration, but although there was a lot of frustration, there was less of a desire to actually leave the position or the organization because there was benefit to staying just a little while longer. I'll put it that way. And so what happened was there were conversations during our sessions, or well, what are your options? Well, leaving is not an option because there's benefit for me to stay. So leaving is not an option. So I need to figure out, how to maneuver through this frustration and unease, where I am, because leaving is not an option. Fast forward to the end of our coaching engagement, and this client hit me with like news that just knocked my socks off. And so she had gone from, nope, not leaving, I got to figure it out in this space that I am, to, I was thinking, I've been hearing what you've been saying, our conversations, have lent me all these insights. And, what I realized is, how valuable I am. What I realize is that I have options. And, I think I'm going to exercise them. Even if I choose not to go anywhere, I'm just going to throw out the bait and I'm going to see who bites. Because I am valuable. I don't have to stay here. I decided that I wanted to stay here because I saw the benefit. But you know what? My happiness is important. And I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And so for me, I was so surprised because this did not come out until the very last session. The very last session. And it just tickled me to no end because I'm like, oh my gosh, she is an entirely like new person. She has a new attitude and watch out world. Again, this is why I do it. I know your value at the time that I agreed to enter into a coaching engagement with you. Again, I am my client's biggest fan, biggest advocate. And there's some other people who may disagree that, oh no, I'm their biggest fan, as you should be, if you play an important role in their life. But when you step into my bubble and you step into my space as your coach during a coaching engagement, I'm your biggest fan in that moment. It's me and you. It's me and you. It's nothing you can't do. And so my third, I think my third favorite moment is when I was coaching a leader. This was a leadership coaching engagement. And this particular client, we showed up for the session and I, inquired as to how they were doing. And the response was, oh, I've been better, not so good. I, recently broke up with my significant other. And I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Like, been there, done that, got several t-shirts, right? So I can empathize. I'm empathizing with my client at the moment. And there was an agenda that the client had in coming into the session. It was leadership based. But this breakup kept coming up. And so what I did was I extended, an element of grace and offered to explore how this breakup was affecting my client. And when I offered that up to my client, they they took me up on that offer, and it felt unconventional. But this just underscored like what I had shared with them at the onset of our engagement, that this is a whole life coaching. Yes, this is a leadership coaching engagement, but your whole life is fair game. And why? Because leaders have lives too. You don't just leave, your personal stuff at the door when you show up to your place of employment, or when you open up your computer and begin whatever your day's work is as the CEO of your company. You don't leave that stuff. It comes with you. Some people are way better at compartmentalizing. It doesn't eradicate the issue. It just temporarily diverts your attention. And some people can't compartmentalize. That's not their gift. That's not their ministry. And so this was a moment when that was able to be leveraged. And the fact that I had shared that at the onset of the engagement, like, this is whole life, everything's fair game. And I was able to I was able to put, my coaching where my mouth was. Okay, I see you, I hear you. Let me offer this to you. I know you're not thinking about it this way, but do you want to focus on that, so that, you can come up with a way to cope and manage while still having to show up and lead and be impactful for yourself and your team and make good decisions even though your heart is broken? Do you want to focus on the broken heart and how to bring yourself back when you feel yourself getting lost in emotion, when those emotions are triggered in the workplace? Do you want to work on that? And the answer was yes. And so that's exactly what we did. And at the end of the session, my client felt equipped with navigating this not so good feeling, this not so desired space in their life, but also showing up and leading their team, and also leading themselves, at a point where there were a lot of other distractions that, if not addressed, that if not managed, that if not mitigated early on, could have been very detrimental to whatever decisions were being made or not made, and how the client was showing up in the workplace. And so just supporting my client in that way, as a leadership coaching client, but life happened and you're still expected to show up and lead. Like, you still are expected to show up and lead. How do you do that? And I was just so thankful to be on her team as a coach, as her coach, and to support her through and hold the space for her to feel and do and be whatever it is that was necessary to show up powerfully, one day at a time, and to know that this space was welcoming for those feelings and those emotions when other spaces of their life may not have been. So those are three of my top coaching moments, I guess I'll say, that I wanted to share. Those are the things that make my heart smile, and a big part of my why. Thank you for tuning in and watching this video. If you tuned in somewhere midway, somehow, some way, again, I am Danielle, the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach. I help millennials navigate life and leadership authentically, redefine success, and show up powerfully in any setting. If this video made your heart smile in any way, if you appreciated the content, please like, share, comment, or what have you. And I look forward to engaging with you in the future. Take care.